Going on, America? What's going on YouTube, Facebook, and all those good places? It's me, Kev from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make some sense out of nonsense. Now, before we get into this, hit that like button, share my videos, follow me on all the other platforms, and somebody please tell me, can you hear me? Not to mention, I cannot see myself on my other channel. Let me see something here. Might be having some technical difficulties on YouTube's part because I didn't get a notification. Okay, I see how they want to play. They want to play rough. Well, anyway, while we're waiting for people to log in, I got a surprise for y'all. Oh, yeah, something y'all all been wanting. The man of the hour. Oh, yeah. That's right, my man dog. Okay, his name is Gizmo. Yeah, he got him a new fancy haircut, so I'm allowed to show him on TV now. Y'all wouldn't want to see him the other day. Yeah, look at it, check it out. He's educated because he had a bow tie. That means he's smart. Dang on it. I refuse to have a liberal dog. My dog's got to be conservative, all right? Know what the heck is going on around the country. They know dog food don't come cheap. They earn, they keep. Dang on it. Well, in his case, he provides comfort. He's my comfort dog. Every time I see a liberal and I see these dang on Democrats acting up, I'm like, I need Gizmo. I need a comfort dog. So, yep, he's back on the wheels of steel. I will say he went to the groomer and threw a complete fit. The lady, looked like she just got done wrestling. I came back in to get him. She's like, man, he's a handful. I was like, I told y'all. You would think you was killing this dude when you give him a bath. He goes crazy. It's unbelievable. All right, so anyway, we got to talk about some stuff tonight because it's Friday, y'all. We might as well have a little fun. Like Bill the Dukes, I'm gonna have me some fun. Let's have a little fun tonight because we got some videos we need to talk about. The man chicken is man-splaining, so we need to talk about him. And then I'm going to go ahead and referee a couple fights at the end, y'all. Ooh, you know how I love the fights. You know how I love to promote those fights. But before any of that gets started, I got to get started. Whoa. I don't like rocking the planet that loud. Okay, let's see here. Let's get that taken care of. We don't want to kill the people. Here we go. Now, we on the right stuff. Now, run that back. Take two. Okay. Oh. Here we go. That's better. Real gorilla. Some kings in the building. Gorillas in here. Gorilla in here. Now, like I said before, the man chicken is back, y'all. Yep. That guy. The guy up there in Canada. The one that when, all that stuff was going on, he broke camp. He bounced. Went off into the forest with his family somewhere. Came out later, persecuting his own people. You know why? Because he's a chicken. A chicken. Caw. He's a chicken. A chicken. Chicho. He's a chicken, y'all. Cha. That's what he is. He's a chicken. So here he is at the G7. And I guess he ran across the new prime minister of Italy. And he has some choice words for her. Here we go. Let's check out the man chicken back in action. Man-splaining.
Canada is concerned about some of the positionings that Italy is taking in terms of the LGBT rights, but I look forward to...
What did he just say? Did that man just have the nerve to tell her that Canada is concerned about some of the positions that Italy's taking in regards to LGBTQ XYZ -3 / rights? That guy said that. Yeah. I like to see the man chicken go and talk to Chi about that. People like that, you think they'll listen to him? You think they'll sit back and go? We saw how Chi disrespected the man chicken when he had the nerve to try to interrupt him and talk about some stuff. So the softest, I would think, honestly, if I had to look at the softest leader of a country, and I ain't talking about he's just soft all around. Everything about this dude just makes me feel like he's some type of gentle woodland creature in the forest ready to be eaten. He's soft core all the way around. I think if they had like a major leader boxing match or something like that, he come in dead last. I might even put creepy sleepy in there with him and think that you know what, Joe might have a chance. Might have a chance. This soft dude got the nerve to be over there trying to talk to this lady about LGBTQ. All of this crap makes me upset because you could tell it's coming from something else. It is not, you can't tell me all these leaders that buy into this crap really is supporting and pushing this narrative on their own, especially the Tea part. Okay, the Tea part, where they're pushing this, you can just close your eyes, blink, and come out as something else. They don't believe this crap. But for some reason, they want to push it down everybody's throat and on any leader who rejects it. It's like a litmus test to be welcomed by their little club. Are you okay with accepting this issue? And if not, you want to have a good social score. Now, you got countries in Africa ain't on this. You got countries in let me see. I know Russia's not on this. Asia is not on this. All of these major countries are not on this, but yet these European countries, for some reason, most likely in alliance with you-know-who, the evil emperor, is trying to shove this mess down everybody's throat like it's a test. And if you are not on board with this, then we got a problem with you. So let's see how she responds to this lecture from the man chicken.
Talking with you about that because we're here at the G7 as an assembly of countries that are promoting the kinds of...
Look at him with those tight knees sitting up there, looking very gentle and trying to talk to her about this. Now, I know she's uncomfortable. I know she's mad. I know in her mind she's thinking, who in the heck is this who speaks to me as if I needed his opinion? And this dude is up there really trying to tell her about this crap on TV. Now, this is nothing but virtue signaling. That's all it is. Is let me bring up an issue that would make me look tolerant, inclusive, progressive, and then might put her on defense in regards to these issues. Besides, if Canada ain't down with, if Italy ain't down with this, what are you going to do about it? That's my question. We think these are issues that we need to talk to you about. And if we don't agree, what? What then, man chicken? Huh? You ain't gonna do business with us, huh? What? So let's go ahead and see.
Strong values and democratic principles that the world needs.
Strong values and democratic principles. Wait a minute. Who determines what is a strong value? That's my question. It might be a strong value for you, but then right behind that, he brings in democratic processes. Now, I would think since that lady's elected and she was very clear on what she stood for, because I've seen some of her speeches, I love her. I love her. Since she was very clear, that sounds like democracy. It's just not what you like, man chicken. So I guess we all got to run around supporting the LGBTQ XY. And that is what is isolating a lot of our Western countries right now. Other countries don't want to deal with this crap. These dumb leaders are making this a high priority. And they're putting it above their own countrymen and people because you could tell just by the recent response to Bud Light that the majority of Americans don't want this shoved down our throat. Same thing going on with Target. Target is now a target of boycotting. Nobody wants this crap. But these politicians, left-wing politicians, this is like their number one priority. Number one. Now, I wasn't a big person who shopped at dang on Target anyway. However, I hope nobody ever go back to Target after what they pulled, man. Burns me up. Now, let me see if this notification ever came through before I get back to the man chicken. Oh, there it is. About time. Got it late. Burns me up, man. It make me so mad. Now, getting back to this. So here he is telling her about some darn democratic process and all that crap.
I always look forward to those conversations.
I always look forward
Wait
to those
until you see what just happened to the soy boy, Canadian Prime Minister Justin
He's a
Trudeau.
soy
It was
boy.
absolutely epic. Plus, we got a major new secessionist movement.
Oh, we do?
spring-
Okay. I didn't know I recorded all this. Let's get back to the soft part.
That are promoting the kinds of strong values and democratic principles that the world needs. And I
That the world
look
needs.
forward to those conversations with you.
Who is he to
Yes,
speak for
see,
what
Prime
the world needs? Who is this dude to speak for what the world needs? What the world needs now is less soy boys. That's what we need. We need less wokeness. So they're trying to put the whole world to sleep by saying y'all need to wake up and become woke.
Mr. Maloney, being that you're a backwards conservative Catholic woman,
That's right.
Mussolini, all that stuff.
All of that.
Let me explain to you what we do here at G7.
Yeah.
You see, we're an assembly of countries that come together
Tell
and
them, Doc.
promote the strong values, the far left radical woke values that the world hates,
Yeah.
but needs. So, like you, Miss Maloney, they're too stupid to
Y'all hear
understand
that? Yeah.
why they need these values to rule them. But that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're here to gather together to discuss how we can more effectively shove woke values down the throats of people who don't want them. And that's what we here at the G7 call democracy. I mean,
Now, see, I think the doc summed it up. He had to translate what the man chicken is really doing and saying, because that's what he's doing. He's like, let me take this photo op, this opportunity to get out here and make myself look stupid and not even recognize that I left a whole trail of intolerance behind me. I done drug in so much hypocrisy into that room right there. Now I got to remind the man chicken about his level of acceptance and tolerance and stuff, because he feels that Italy is not, tolerant. That group of rich billionaires and leaders of the world at the G7, they're the ones that is setting the curriculum for the rest of the globe. And if you, for whatever reason, disagree, shut your mouth. You shut your mouth. We won't play with you. We'll isolate you on the playground. But yet, the people don't want this garbage. Nobody wants to be associated with this. How about you just let people live their lives? What is this whole push for? We need acceptance and tolerance. No, you want everybody to be happy, celebrate, and support any ideology or movement that y'all deem to be acceptable or important. Now, if you would just leave stuff alone, you'll find that nobody is attacking people that live that lifestyle. Don't care. We are concerned about you guys going over the top with the wokeness and the craze. We're concerned when you start saying, now let's go ahead and get hold to them kids. But they never let you know that. They make it seem like our problem is with the whole gay and lesbian community. No. Our problem is with you guys setting an agenda that is really encouraging the lower level useful idiots that you see on TikTok complaining, you guys are fascists and all this. You guys are setting that by making them feel as if they have a right to go around bullying folks, demanding that you get the pronouns right or whatever. Yeah, they got a right to slap you if they want to, jump on you, if they want to, all of that. They can do whatever they want because you got people like him getting on TV, like our Democrats, and like many other world leaders that are saying this is important, these people are and this and that, and anybody who don't agree with this, they're pushing hate. These folks right here, evil, they're intolerant. So what do you think these people, who many of them deal with some psychological issues, what do you think they're going to do? How do you think they're going to respond when you hear world leaders up here talking about that? So now, he pretty much broke it down. I don't want to hear nothing that Justin Trudeau has to tell me because we need to remind Justin where he came from.
I mean, you could just see Georgia Maloney's
Look at her face.
her demeanor.
Look at her face. Look at her face. I know she wanted to reach across there and slap that dude, silly. That softcore dude. Matter of fact, I put my money on her. I think she would take him to task, one-on-one. So yeah, she got that look like, who is this Pop-Tart lecturing me?
She clearly had no patience for this pathetic buffoon, this poor privileged excuse for a prime minister.
Yeah, he is.
To arrogate himself to a position of moral superiority over her.
He's better than her.
Let's just zoom in on the Italian PM's face as Trudeau decided to man-splain democracy to her. Yeah, not happy. And this final look really sums up what all of us think of the repugnant, incompetent Trudeau.
I do. I think exactly the same way that look is right there. I feel it. I know exactly what that look means. Yeah, he probably feels the heat looking at him as he looks away. I said, nah. Feel her right there. Like, I'm going to stare at you until you acknowledge me. And then I'm going to keep staring at you until you look away. Staring him right in the face until he goes, That's right. She needs to stare him down until he looks away. In insecurity. Yeah, so the man chicken trying to act like he actually then developed some courage as he gets out there and mansplains democracy to her.
Justin Trudeau was the victim of what she called fake news.
True. That's
That he
what she
frankly
said
didn't
that.
understand Italian politics or legislation, and that Italy needs no lectures about LGBT rights from his woke ass. Well, she didn't say that last part, but I think it was a faithful implication.
Yeah, I think so too. His woke butt. Dang on it. What's up, chicken butt? That dude right there. That softcore guy up here trying to tell Italy about democracy and tolerance, and he's concerned. Now, do you understand how bad she probably wanted to choke him? That's like my neighbor coming over here. Hey, Kev, I want to talk to you about your cars. I'm a little concerned that I don't see you going out checking your oil every day. That's something I do, and I think it's important that you do it every day as well. I would be sitting at my door looking at that person going, am I being punked? Is there some cameras out here? Who are you? Why are you here telling me what I need to do in my crib? Did you pay for this joint? Huh? How about you mind your own business, go back over there and keep checking your oil every day before I check your oil. Dang on it. So get your butt out of here. That's how she feels. And I'm glad she said this as a response. But remember this, y'all?
Kanada,
Oh, Canada.
nekada simbol
Once a symbol
modernog svijeta,
of the modern world has become a symbol of civil rights violations. What? You mean that very gentle guy we just saw telling her about tolerance? Now they're a symbol of civil rights violations. How?
je pod vodstvom vaše kvazi-liberalne čizme
Čizme.
proteklih mjeseci
Ooh, under your something liberal boot in recent months. Oh, wow. Kasi liberal boots in recent months. Here we go.
postala simbol kršenja temeljnih ljudskih prava i građanskih sloboda. Gledali smo kako konjima
We watch how you trampled women with horses, man, chicken. Remember that, guys? Remember up there in Canada when those folks were out there peacefully protesting and the man chicken wouldn't hid from them? And then later on came out talking about, I appreciate all kind of protests that I like and enjoy and support. You know, like Black Lives Matter. But not these guys. Yeah, those folks get the horses. Old women and all. What else they do?
žene kako samohranim roditeljima
Ooh, how you block the bank accounts of single parents. That's real democratic. That's very tolerant from the man chicken, right? Right? Well, he didn't sit down and lecture on how to be a real dictator. He should have been like, now up in Canada is how we really show how tyranny looks, and that's what he should have been saying. Because that dude don't know anything about democracy and supporting civil rights. These people are calling him out.
blokirate bankovne
Block
račune
their bank accounts.
da ne mogu platiti
So they
djeci
can't even pay their children's what?
školovanje.
Education and medicine. That they can't pay utilities. That's what the man chicken was about. If you didn't rush down there and get whatever, if you didn't stay in your house, the man chicken felt that you don't have a right to be out there peacefully protesting. And he didn't just make you go back to your crib or disperse. He went one step further. Let's do what the devil would do. Let's go ahead and make a system that we can control to make people not be able to do anything outside of that system. Let's go after their money. Let's go after their jobs. Let's go after their resources. We don't want nobody to buy, sell, or any of that stuff unless they have the mark of the man chicken. That's what we want. Yeah, and I heard our little man chicken over here is the one that called him and told him how to do it. So now we got two chickens running around with their heads cut off.
Da ne mogu platiti lijekove, da ne mogu platiti račune za struju i vodu.
Yeah.
Da ne mogu
Mortgages for their homes. Do you know how bad folk probably got jammed up because of the man chicken? Here you are like, wait a minute, okay, fine. The police came, busted us up, sent me to the crib. But now I go to log in, check my bank account, and it's blocked? What? Excuse me? Yes, my account is blocked up. What? The man chicken did it? Oh, I didn't know that they could do that. Well, they can't. They're not supposed to. But the man chicken don't care because he doesn't respect democracy. That's what he did.
platiti rate kredita za svoje domove.
Yeah, that didn't sound too tolerant. Didn't sound like those other world leaders were looking at the man chicken like, wow, that guy, he's an example. He's a inspiration of how we should conduct business in our country and respect the citizens in our country. Yeah, they didn't see the man chicken like that, and neither do I. I see him exactly how he is. A big fat soy boy, soft core, man chicken. That's how he is. And I hope to goodness that Canada vote his tail out. Now, let's get to some other wokeness, because wokeness can lead to brokenness. In the case of this educator in, I think, New York, she's a professor over at some college. She was a little upset while these guys minding their business. I guess they were anti-abortion, and they had a little table set up. I'm sure they had a permit. Yeah. And they just, had their display out. They weren't saying, excuse me, come here for a minute. Want to talk to you about that? They just had this stuff out there. So if people want to come up and get some of their literature, I guess, they can come up there and do that. Maybe ask some questions. Have a civil dialogue amongst the people on this campus. And let's see how this woke black lady responds to this.
You're not educating.
You're not educating nothing.
What are you going to do? Like,
she's saying you ain't educating nothing. This is propaganda. Look, what? Okay.
Like anti-trans next?
Oh, what are you going to do next, huh? Anti-trans next? Now, why are you involved in this, grown lady with those big, fat, long, gray dread knots hanging out your head? How about you go somewhere and sit down, mind your business, or think about your paycheck, your job? You're supposed to be a professional, right? Well, let's just see how professional she is.
What you going to do next? I mean, no, we're talking about...
Oh, now let's listen to the response of these white nationalist fascists. I'm sure they're going to say, why don't you get yourself out of here, black woman? You ain't got no right to be talking to some white men like this. I'm sure that's what they're going to say to her. But instead, they shocked me by saying, no, we are talking about abortion. Wow. Sounds very peaceful and calm. Let's see.
This is bull.
This is bull crap. This is, what did she do? This is violence. Now see, that's what wokeness gets you. That's why it can't be tolerated. That's why it's a virus that needs to be stumped out. When you are running around saying your words is violence, your opinion is violence, your little booth you got sitting right there with that literature is violence. Those pamphlets jump right off that table and start chasing students around, ripping them up, ripping them to pieces, man, because it's violence when you have a different opinion or different view. Now, that's scary, because when you start trying to flip the concept of violence and make it appear that all you have to do is disagree with me and I consider that violent, when something is considered violent, usually there's repercussions from the person who is doing something violent. So I guess since those papers are jumping her and attacking her, she decides to fight back. Look what she does to these pamphlets.
Violent. You're triggering my students.
No, I'm triggering you. You're triggering my students. I see you as a grown lady, a person with a full job, over here talking about your words are violent. This stuff is violent, and you're triggering my students. No, you seem more triggered than the students.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
No, you're not. Because you can't even
you're
have...
not. See, I'm a liberal, and I have extra additional rights to violate your right to assemble peacefully. Yeah, see, our priority is greater than your opinion, your choices, your decisions, and all that. It's greater than that. See, I'm going to tell you what you are and what you ain't, how you should believe. Okay, that's who she is. That's that attitude right there. Now, imagine if she was, say, the president, even the president of the college. Imagine any position of power with this mentality. I mean, do you think she would be tolerant to all of her citizens to disagree? And this is all being encouraged by politicians as well. They're creating people like this. And she's grown. She should know better.
So you don't even know what that is.
Uh-oh. She said, you can't even have babies. Now, wait a minute. That's intolerant. Did the liberals hear her say that? Because that right there is a lie. She don't even know what a woman is, I'm sure, right? But yeah, you can't even have babies. And then she says, you don't even know what that is. Okay.
You don't even know what this is. Get
You
this
don't know.
out of here.
Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa. Did y'all see that grown up with a full-blown job attack those tablets that were surely being violent towards her and knock it all off? Now that video went out, and unfortunately, she, I guess, went to the crib. I don't know what happened at that point, but see, her wokeness is going to now lead her to brokenness because, see, after the video went viral, I don't know if she thought what she was going to be celebrated. That's my question. You know, people in every area got some type of phone out, some type of video camera, and you're acting up like this at the workplace. Now, it comes back to bite her. Here's some reporters coming up to her apartment. Now, I don't know what happened to her up until this point, but this right here is about to go ahead and stick the dagger in her. Watch how she does. Whoa.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Did she just... Oh my. Did y'all see the lady with the dreadnoughts come out there with that knife at that man's throat? This is what liberalism gets you. So here this woke chick is now is about to be a broke chick is because she got fired after that. That's how the liberals feel they should handle the press. Now wait a minute. Where's Alvin Bragg and all of that? Where's Fat Albert? This is in New York. That was right there. Attempted assault right there with a deadly weapon. Yeah, put that knife right to his throat. And my man kept it cool. Get away from my door. Now, I guess she, at the last second, looks over and catches what? A camera. Yeah, I guess she wasn't thinking about that.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's see the slow motion. Yeah, okay, here we go. The opening of there's the knife. There's the knife. Uh-oh. That guy got a camera. Let me go ahead and drop this knife. There you go. Let me throw it on the ground. Man, liberals, man, they don't think it through. They do not think it through. So your response to the media is to come out the door with a full-blown knife to the man's throat and thinking no repercussions, right? This right here. Now, understand, guys, when those folks down there in St. Louis was standing on their front line with their guns, not even pointed at those people, but telling them, y'all ain't gonna come up in our property and do what y'all are chanting y'all gonna do to us. They wanted to press charges against those guys. They did, in fact. The governor had to pardon them. However, that lady busts out the door with a full-blown knife to the man's throat, and yeah, all she gets is just fired, which, you know, she should be getting some charges pressed against her. All she had to do is think like a regular human and just open the door and say, hey, look, I'm not taking questions. Thank you. Boom. There you go. But this is what you get when you create all these crazy activists and woke virus kicks in. Okay, wait a minute. Wokeness leads to dopiness. Oh, man, this wokeness leads to dopiness. So MSNBC tries to out-woke these other clips that I just showed y'all by bringing this lady on. Let's check out this lady's opinion.
Aisha, I have talked for 7 years about the asymmetry of covering Trumpism in America, something so audacious and so unimaginable that the normal ways of rapidly responding are inadequate.
See, and this is what creates the hostile environment. They demonize people to the point where they say, you cannot respond like a civil person to intolerant people. You can't just have a reasonable opinion or response to it. You got to go over the top because these folks are abnormal. They're evil. They're so crazy, so abnormal. We can get on the news and call them all kind of stuff. We can get up there and say this man's a white nationalist, racist, xenophobe, homophobe. He's a Russian agent. He's unfit. He's a crazy. He eats too much hamburgers. He drinks too much Coke. All of that. We can do all of that because he's different. He's different. We can violate his civil liberties, raid his crib. We can go ahead and throw all these charges at him. We can do all of that. Release his taxes to the public. We can pretty much do whatever we want to these people. That's the mentality that they are creating in our society to divide the country. They're making all these woke crazy folks feel like, well, it's different. You can do whatever you want to these people because they're evil. You heard what Nicole Wallace was saying. So now she brings this lady on here, and this is the lady who's about to tell us how things are going in Florida after she just comes back from a trip with her wife and kids, I guess. Yeah, from Florida.
This seems to address that asymmetry and say, I got this. What do you think?
I think it was extremely clever, and I really appreciate the NAACP's guidance on this issue. Yeah.
Now you see the lady with the banana peel on right there, that big old yellow banana peel. So here she is talking about the NAACP's guidance on this, which was to, I guess, say a travel advisory for black people. They shouldn't go to Florida. It's that dangerous. Did y'all know that? It's like back of Rosewood. They're just chasing black people around down there and stringing them up, I guess. How did you make it out of there, black lesbian lady with kids? You just came back from vacation in Florida. How did you maneuver and navigate through all of that white nationalism and all of that lynching efforts? That's what I want to know. How did she make it back? Good grief. And why aren't you going back to get others like Harriet Tubman? Because obviously they're on the run down there.
I just took my family to spring break in Florida recently, and I think about all of the folks who traveled there for sun and joy.
Did they meet you when you flew in at the airport? Like, what the heck you doing in this country? You don't get on that. Go and get you and your kids and your whatever that thing is you got on your arm. I don't know what that is. A woman, man, who knows? Y'all just get. I'm sure that's how they greeted her. I'm sure she was rejected. They had to reroute her plane. Yeah, I'm sorry, no blacks allowed. Reroute. But she landed, went through the whole trip. Where's your testimony right now about all the oppression you endured while you were there? You just said you just came back from spring break. You didn't experience none of that racism and stuff like that. So not only did she not experience it, but let's go ahead and see what she is about to drop here on national TV.
And peace and restoration. And to be reminded that actually this is getting to the point where Florida is about to be a terrorist state to many of us here in America. So
you see that? Now, why would they do things like this? Because see, when you label things as something that is so horrific and you create the perception that these people are no longer regular citizens and people like you. They're so evil. They're such an aberration. What do you call it? Aberration of the norm here that we got to look at them like full terrorists. Once you create the view of someone and you say, all right, that person right there is like an animal. So we should be able to kill them. We should be able to do whatever. This is Marxist tactics right here. They did this. Hitler did it. You demonize people so long to where they don't look like humans anymore. That's what you do. You start convincing folks that they're terrorists. They're responsible for all your oppression. They're constantly trying to attack you. They're not like us. All these ultra MAGA, the extremists and the ultra MAGA folk trying to take the country. And this, you start doing stuff like that. You get on TV and you start saying things like, you know what, the greatest threat to the homeland is white supremacy. You start doing that and brainwashing your people to the point where when you want to do something like that, you want to do something like we've seen them doing to Trump, to the people up there on J6, all of that. When you do stuff like that, then the masses won't even respond. They won't catch that you pulled the wool over their eyes. They will look the other way and might even celebrate it. Might even say, yes, about time y'all put the hammer down on these fascists as they are using fascistic, tactics. They're the fascists. They're using the tactics, but they're projecting it on these other folks and dummies don't even catch it. So now this lady gets up there and said, Florida's about to become a terrorist state. Now, do you understand? She should be sued for some type of defamation or something like that. Because if that was true, that means that we might have to send in the National Guard to rescue those people down there, right? I mean, surely we can't have a whole full-blown state in America as a terrorist state, or could we? Because I feel sometimes like Chicago, California, all these liberal, dang on states and cities feel like that to me sometimes, especially when they're breaking laws openly by letting illegals come in. That's right, letting terrorists slide through the cracks because they have a broken border, things like that. I mean, it looks like they're trying to really be a terrorist state. But here she is, she throws that mess out there, and Nicole Wallace just lets it go. Don't even respond.
Certainly, as a lesbian, as a black woman, I don't want to have anything to do with the place.
Good. Keep your big banana peel wearing butt out of Florida. Dang on it. All of these people makes me so mad. You know what? It's crazy. I don't want anything to do with it. It's good. Stay out of it. Why are you on here even talking about it? If the people in Florida aren't whining and complaining and fleeing for their lives, how about you shut your mouth? Okay? Mind your own business. The only reason I get upset when it comes down to liberalism, wokeism, and politics is because Democrats and liberals and wokeness, they intrude upon your rights. It never just stays within their area. They always want to tiptoe and branch out and get in your mix. So yes, that makes me very, very into politics at that point, because I'm saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. If this dude out there in California becomes the president, how could that impact me? Now I'm concerned and keeping an eye on you out there, Gavin Newsom in California, saying, don't let that dude get into no power. I don't want him close to the White House now. See, when I see people in other states doing things that I say, these are the people who want more power, yeah, I need to be a little concerned. I need to talk about what they're doing and what's going on. These are the people advocating for, 9-month abortion. And these are the people that are advocating for kids being allowed to go ahead and do whatever to themselves. I'm concerned. If y'all were to mind your own business and act like you got some darn sense, I wouldn't be in your business. When I see folks like that crazy lady with the dreadnoughts jumping out there talking about this is violence, knocking your stuff over, I get concerned. How did you become like that, lady? Who are the folks that's convincing you that disagreeing is violence? Yeah, that's when I need to start speaking out. But she's speaking out for nothing. She's sitting back saying, yeah, it's about to become a terrorist state. And the people in Florida is going, we had no idea. Is she talking about our Florida? Is this a Florida somewhere in Pakistan or in Afghanistan? They got a Florida over there? Because it can't be the Florida in America. But yeah, she gets on TV and throws that garbage out there.
And I think about all the other people who don't want to travel there either. And so I think it was very clever on behalf of the NAACP. I thank them for issuing this broad guidance. And, really what it does is it turns a remarkable, I think, lens on the United States. And
no, it doesn't. It just makes you look completely like a buffoon. It makes you look stupid. It makes you look like you're prostituting yourself on TV right there. As you get up there and you say that this was a good idea, you're trying to fit a circle into a square. That's all you're doing. You're trying to find some way to justify the stupidest mandate ever. Black folks shouldn't go down to Florida because black folks are being mistreated. How? Well, they're not allowed. The kids aren't allowed to learn stuff. You mean those books that they are talking about doing nasty things and transgender on the bus goes around and around, stuff like that? Well, yeah, kind of. And then, then black folks, guns, too many guns down in Florida and this and that. Now. I mean, what's the death rate down? Are they killing everybody? What about Chicago? Where that's liberal Rand and everybody dies all over the place at any time, any given point. You should issue that warning, NAACP, for Chicago. That's what they should do. They should say, black folks is not, it's too dangerous to travel to Chicago. It's too dangerous to travel to LA. It's too dangerous to go up to Washington and Virginia and all of that place. Now, it's too dangerous. But they don't do that. New York, too dangerous. But here she is talking about thanks to NAACP somehow. For what? For nothing.
And highlights how bigotry and bias and ignorance do as much harm as we accuse.
No more harm than what you're doing right now. One, to my eyes with that bright yellow. Two, to the mind of people like we just saw knocking those pamphlets off the table. As you get on here and you pervert the truth so badly, and now you got people somewhere that's just teetering on insanity, and these words like this push them right over the edge. Yeah, that's what she's doing.
Accuse other countries of doing to people that they suppress.
Wow. Accuse other countries of doing to people that they suppress. Now, if all of these people were elected into power, they would suppress and oppress all of us. There's no telling what level they wouldn't be willing to go to if they felt all of these conservatives disagreed with them. If they could become the dictators that they want to be, do you think they wouldn't implement something crazy to deal with folks who don't agree with them? I mean, these folks are getting vicious and aggressive when it comes down to, you guys don't believe what we said. That's why we got to fight everybody who wants to get in power, who thinks just like her and others. Or else we will be looking at stuff like this. Time for corruption. Here is the FBI. No, this is the IRS whistleblower, Hunter Biden. Yeah, you know that guy, the crackhead. The one who, for whatever reason, is taking forever to prosecute. That guy. Let's see the latest on his investigation and see what this whistleblower got to say. Because I'm starting to like these whistleblowers.
Control of this particular investigation, I immediately saw it, was way outside the norm of what I've experienced in the past.
Yeah, Gary Shapley is a supervisory special agent for the IRS, where he's worked for 14 years. In January 2020, he was assigned to what he calls a high-profile investigation.
Oh, yeah?
Who's the subject of the investigation?
I can't confirm or deny the subject of this investigation.
Why not? I could guess.
Because, part of the tax secrecy laws don't allow it.
Shapley can't say it, but CBS News has learned.
There he is. The crackhead and Papa Crackhead. Right there. Big crack and little crack. Okay, so there's Creepy Sleepy and then his Creepy Sleepy son too, right next to him, with Joe's husband sitting in the middle. So there he is. That's the guy. The guy right now that's still running around free for some reason. That guy. The guy who never got his house raided by the FBI and, no gun charges brought up on him, no drug charges, nothing. Drunk driving, nothing. I mean, just getting off of all kind of stuff. Media not even addressing it, So, but anyway, that's it. I'm not. If there was a such thing as white privilege, I would think he is the poster child of it. All of the crimes that he's been getting away with because of his dad. That right there is some white privilege for you, man.
The investigation was the probe of Hunter Biden by the Trump-appointed U.S. attorney in Delaware.
Okay.
Senior Biden administration officials have vowed to let it run its course without interference.
Yeah.
It's not restricted in this investigation in any way.
Y'all hear Mayor Garlic? It's not restricted in investigation in any way. Is that true?
CBS News has obtained this letter Shapley's lawyers sent to Congress Monday,
what did it say?
Alleging irregularities in DOJ's handling of the investigation. Shapley is seeking legal protections from Congress so he can share specifics of his allegations.
Legal protection from Congress so he can share specifics. Now, do you think all of those Democrats in Congress is going to get on board? I bet you they just want to hear this, right? I guarantee you they're sitting back on, man, well, if he got something to say that impedes this investigation, we definitely want to hear it. Or would they get out there and start saying that this man right here is he's a tool, he's bought and paid for by Trump, he's hanging out with Mayor Giuliani, don't forget he's a Russian agent, sprinkle a little bit of that Russian agent on him too, then go get a little bit of racism, he's a racist, he's a fascist, we'll throw all that on him. They wouldn't want to hear from this whistleblower, but I hope they do, because I want to hear it. I want to know the details.
There was multiple steps that were slow walked at the direction of the Department of Justice.
What? Mayor Garlic, the one we just saw getting on TV talking about that we were not impeding this investigation at all. Him?
Had you ever encountered that before?
I have not, no.
We encountered a lot of stuff we've never encountered before since these Democrats took over. Whole bunch of stuff. We're all going, is this America? We ain't never seen nothing like this before.
For normal process, and each and every time it seemed to always benefit the subject.
Oh, now isn't that crazy? How all of the glitches, all of the interferences, all of the hiccups always benefit the Democrats. That's right. COVID gets dropped out of nowhere, and it benefits the Democrats. Isn't that interesting? All these things that go wrong somehow always just work out for the Democrats. So they have been impeding the investigation. And then they end up relieving this guy. Then other whistleblowers came forward and they start saying the same thing. So they just took them all off the case. That doesn't look strange, does it? Yeah, it doesn't look strange at all.
Copley says he decided to blow the whistle after a heated meeting last October with federal prosecutors.
It was my red line meeting. It just got to that point where that switch was turned on, and I just couldn't silence my conscience anymore.
Yeah.
Did you let prosecutors know you were unhappy?
I don't think I can answer that.
Hunter Biden has denied any wrongdoing.
Of course he did. Of course he did. You think that crackologist right there is going to come out like, I was wrong. Yeah, I was laundering money with my father. If I was him, I would go ahead and say, Dad, you used me all these years. You abused the daughter in the shower, I guess, because she's all busted up. I'm turning on you, Dad. I'm turning states test. Dad he was the big guy. I wish Hunter Biden would pull a Nino Brown. New Jack City on Creepy Sleepy. I'm not the person you should be looking at. See, see, the real person is Creepy Sleepy. He's the big guy. Sonny, what are you doing? I know I told you you were the unwanted son that I wanted. Now I regret having you, but still, it's me and you. You're my son. No, I don't want to hear that. Send that dude up the river. If I was him, I'd be like, it's my dad. He's the one. So let's continue though, because I'm sure Hunter's going to be honest and come forth, right?
Civil servants. The IRS agent told us he is a registered Republican. His whistleblowing is being assisted by an advocacy group with past ties to the GOP. But Shapley says this is not about politics.
Why do you want to navigate these waters?
I don't want to do any of this. I took an oath of office, and when I saw the egregiousness of some of these things, it no longer became a choice for me. It's not something that I want to do. It's something that I feel like I have.
Now see, that's the difference between whistleblowers on the right, whistleblowers on the left. There's usually a benefit. There's usually an incentive besides just, I want to do the right thing. When it comes down to their whistleblowers, they get books and they get to go on, late night TV. They get to be contributors on these shows. They get people patting them on the back, might even get a holiday, something like that. But for somebody on the right, or even in the middle, to blow the whistle on these corrupt people, you're not benefiting off of this. You're not going to be paraded around on CNN, MSNBC. You're not going to get no book deals out of that. You're sitting there going, I'm about to open up a whole can of problems when I come forth. But when they come forth, they're doing it because integrity. See, that's the difference. It's not just to stop a person from running, not just to demonize a Republican or something like that. It is because I'm looking at these folks breaking laws and getting away with it and impeding my ability to do my job. And I can't do this anymore. I got to come out and say, hey, man, something's going on. That's why whistleblowers that blow the whistle on these type of people always seem more sincere than your blasé Fords. They always got way more details about what they saw, like a Tony Bobulinski, who was very, very detailed about all he witnessed. But the FBI and the Democrats, they didn't want to hear that. They'd rather hear a blasé Ford talk about some 30 years ago, I can barely remember what happened. But that's what they want to hear. They want to hear people like that crazy chick that was on Anderson Pooper's show talking about, yes, I look forward to talking to you, Anderson. You're a very interesting person. Yeah, that lady. The one who was talking about rape is, kind of sexy. Most people look at it that way. That chick. They'd rather hear from folks like that than people like this.
Second government worker is alleging wrongdoing in the criminal investigation into Hunter Biden. Correspondent David Spaunt is at the Justice Department tonight.
Another IRS whistleblower claims retaliation after speaking up about problems in the Hunter Biden investigation.
So now, at what point do you finally catch the hint? When you have multiple whistleblowers coming forth, they're blowing the whistle on the FBI, blowing the whistle on the DOJ, blowing the whistle on IRS, all of these folks. Now, it only takes two to be a witness to put somebody up the dang on river. Two folks. You get two to corroborate, oh, yep, I saw him, I was there. You get sent up the river. But yet, you got all of these people. What is this, mass delusion? That's what it is. Or all of these people hallucinating and saying we're seeing the same thing somehow. Yeah, and we're all now inspired to come and tell it. You ain't got to go dig up no raggedy witness like the Democrats do. These are people just coming out of nowhere going, hey man, something's going on in here. It might cost me my job, might get disappeared, all of that. And these are multiple people. Media is avoiding it for the most part. And these folks keep skirting. They are pushing it, man. They are pushing it in our face.
He wrote late last week to his supervisors, I have asked for countless of meetings with our chief and deputy chief, often to be left out on an island and not heard from.
Yeah.
The new whistleblower joins his boss, who came forward last month alleging the IRS retaliated after he complained about issues including investigation delays.
Yep. So the body is fighting the invasion, the virus. That's right. They're reacting. That big corrupt body right there don't want the medicine. They don't want the cure. They like, get it out of here. All right. We don't want to be cleaned up. We want to stay filthy. So they're attacking these whistleblowers, unfortunately. But yet they're all saying that we love the whistleblowers. And that's why I'm going to have to go ahead and let these last couple clips be me refereeing these fights.
He's expected to testify behind closed doors on the House side at the U.S. Capitol on Friday. The IRS responding to Fox News in a statement, when an IRS employee raises allegations, the commissioner's office does not directly run an investigation, seek the identity of the whistleblower, or similarly intervene. Instead, the IRS supports the inspector general. IRS Commissioner Daniel Werfel wrote to members of Congress in both parties, I have not intervened and will not intervene in any way that would impact the status of any whistleblower.
But wait a minute. So I think the one dude, I don't even know if he still works there, the first guy, and the other guy saying retaliation. Now, we've been hearing a lot about these retaliations that's taking place up there. And when they ask the people that is over these departments, they all seem to say the same thing. Isn't that crazy? We're about to hear from Raggedy Christopher Wray about retaliating against these FBI whistleblowers. And of course, the FBI doesn't do it. It doesn't do it. See, we don't do that, those type of things. We're an upstanding organization that always does the right thing and all that stuff.
But the allegations coming from the IRS in this investigation are unique, according to a whistleblower expert of more than 4 decades.
I want to make a comment about something that...
Well. So now, y'all, what do y'all think? Y'all think Hunter's about to go up the river? Do you think Christopher Wray is going to get off his butt and do something about this and look into this? You think Mayor Garlick is going to come out and say, well, since I'm over the Department of Justice, if there was interference, it's all on me? You think they're going to make that confession? Or are they going to do what they normally do? Sources and methods. We all make a collective decision. It's not just one person who makes this decision. All of that mess. And even if it comes out that they did interfere, then what? If somebody comes with a full-blown memo saying, here's Mayor Garlick, written statement to me, don't let Hunter go up the river, signed his name, that's the guy, though, that has to prosecute who? Himself? I mean, you think Creepy Sleepy's gonna say, you know what, I can't believe this guy's corrupt. Go ahead, get rid of him. I want you to prosecute my son. You think Joe's gonna do that? No, they're interfering too. They probably told him to get these folks off the case, please. I'm on it. So now, here we are in Congress, and I got a new fighter in the ring, y'all. I don't even know what his name is. If somebody know it, tell me. I forget his name. But he's a former Navy SEAL, which I would have never pegged that. But boy, I like his style, y'all. I like his style. So here we go. He's talking about, let's see what I think this one's about. Oh, the FBI. So here we go.
One of my colleagues who just left the room said, he made a reference to the former president of the United States and his family and their known business dealings in China and other places. What? I found it interesting because one of the biggest differences between the Trump family and their foreign business dealings and the Biden family and their foreign business dealings is that the Trump family actually owns businesses. They actually own hotels and resorts.
Oh my, I like his style. I like his show and I like his style, but your pay so cheap, won't be back for a while. That guy right there said that. So as these raggedy Democrats in there trying to defend all of the stupidity, and these whistleblowers are, they all hate Trump, and love Trump rather, and that's why they're trying to get rid of Biden, and these folks are propagandists. And they brought up Don Jr. and the Trump kids and how they benefited from the presidency. And I'm thinking, how did they do that? How are they bringing in all the money? It appears that most of the time, it looked like they were losing money because of all the demonization of their father. I know Trump lost money, and he brings up a good point. How can you go after them and try to say they profited and benefited, but they actually have tangible businesses? But yet you have all these mysterious businesses just out there in the ether. And titles, that's all they are. This is something LLC. This is Creepy Sleepy Enterprises. This is Crackhead Enterprises over here. No physical buildings, nothing, just names and titles with money being dropped in all these different places. No product, no people in there boxing stuff and shipping it. None of that. No elves in there working. Nothing? How do you get all that money?
Okay. Pretty stark difference from what we're learning, what many of us knew, and now we're actually learning as the Oversight and Judiciary Committee actually get to bring in witnesses. You know, the sad thing is for everybody in this room, everybody in this town,
don't you say
everybody in this country knows that if the FBI and our DOJ had the type of damning information, hard evidence, bank records, etc., on the money laundering that this president, his family have been up to the last couple years, and their names were Eric and Don Jr., we wouldn't even be having this hearing.
Why not?
You know why? They'd be in jail.
Oh, my. I'm loving this man's style. That right there is an unspoken truth, but just got spoken by this man. You can't tell me that if everything was reversed, they would still be wandering around going, all right, we're still respecting the process. We're still waiting on the results. They would have had Trump and the kids locked up way before this. They would have accelerated these investigations so quickly. Every night, the news would be pressuring them to prosecute, to look into it. They would be pretty much the jury, the news. We want to see, we think he's guilty. We declare him guilty. But yet, these folks right here are trying to pretend like, well, yeah, just let the process slowly work its way out. And, we're not going to go ahead and be too aggressive on it. I'm sure in Delaware, they're working through it. No, they're dragging this out because they're trying to protect Creepy Sleepy and Crackhead. That's what they're doing. So he's telling the truth. They would have had them all locked up by now.
And this is exactly the type of thing I was talking about, Ms. Murphy. And this is exactly why so many of your colleagues have had enough and they've become whistleblowers. Ms. Murphy, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
So many of your colleagues have had enough. What do you think about the whistleblowers that just said, I can't do it anymore?
Tell us, Ms.
I can't cover for the organization, the institution that I work for because I didn't swear an oath to them. I actually swore an oath to the United States and the Constitution. What do you think about that, ma'am?
Yeah, tell us all. We want to know what you think about it, Miss Murphy. That's what I want to know, okay? Because you don't find this many whistleblowers for nothing. All of these FBI agents, they all plotting against Creepy Sleepy and the FBI. So let's see how Miss Murphy answers.
Do you feel like they betrayed the institution, or are you glad that they're up here?
Sir, I appreciate the question.
No, you don't.
I'm proud and I'm happy that we live in a country where there's whistleblower protection acts.
Now that didn't sound confident. She's sitting there like, let me think real quick how I want to answer this one. Be careful, Murphy. All right, this is an important. Okay, I'm proud to live in a country where there are whistleblower acts. If it was up to you guys, the whistleblowers would be probably thrown in a slammer somewhere for treason against the FBI, not the country. Treason against the FBI. So here she is trying to pretend that she respects these whistleblowers, blowing the whistle on the corruption in the FBI. But you think this man right here is going to let her get away with that lazy punch? You think this man right there in the ring with her is going to say, okay, you know what? She's fighting back. Let me take a knee. Or is he going to crack her ribs, Think he's going to crack those ribs?
And that people can come forward when they think things have been done incorrectly. You know, like I support the FBI. I think the FBI does amazing work.
You know, ma'am, I think they do some amazing work too, but I think we both know that its reputation is massively tarnished. And I think we're both glad that we have whistleblower provisions in this country. But I think if you weren't under oath and we weren't wearing these clothes and in this room right now and we were having a private conversation, I sure hope there's part of you that is embarrassed and disgusted with what the FBI has been up to. And I know the American people are. I mean, look at the movies growing up. You guys are in like every movie as the hero. When you were a little girl and you were watching movies growing up, did you notice that? Those cool blue jackets?
Now, he's setting her up. He's setting her up real good, y'all. Y'all see him laying the groundwork? Yeah, he wants her to walk into this. He wants her to make a confession. That's who he wants. Hey, anybody figure out his name? I could find it. I forget his name. I should have went ahead and if anybody knows his name, put it in the comments. Now, he's setting her up. He's basically about to make a contrast, compare contrast from how the FBI used to be viewed versus how they're currently viewed. Okay. What's up, Steven? All right, so here we go. He's setting her up. You remember when we was kids? All the time the FBI come on TV. We'd be like, oh, yeah, man, you know what? I'm this character. I'm that character. We used to play. Around. I'm FBI agent. All right, you're under arrest. But now, how do we look at them?
With the bright yellow lettering, the FBI on it. Was that pretty cool watching those movies growing up and those TV shows and now getting to work for this organization?
It's amazing to work for this organization.
It is. Isn't it amazing?
Is there a part of you though that feels torn, ma'am? Like the whistleblowers that are coming up here now in droves that just say, I can't do it anymore. I didn't swear an oath to the FBI. Is there a part of you that feels torn?
Now, what he's doing right now is counseling her. She's sitting in the psychiatrist's office right now. Do you feel sometimes a little conflicted, knowing that you're a part of a corrupt entity and you're kind of turning your face and looking away from all the corruption going on? Do you ever lay awake at night thinking about that sometimes? Huh? No, it's just me and you and the rest of the American people. That's all. Go ahead. Tell us how you feel.
Or not at all. Ma'am, I'm asking you a serious question.
Sir, I'm very proud to work for the FBI. I think I stated that.
That's it?
I know you are. That's not what I asked you, ma'am. I asked you if you feel torn.
Oh, she's getting that counseling session. Now, see, you're avoiding the question. It's Eli. Thank you. Yeah, Eli Crane. You're avoiding the question. This is called misplaced blame. You're trying to disassociate yourself with the corrupt part of the organization and just simply focus on the positives. And I need you to, if you ever want to be better, you got to start looking at the totality of the whole organization, and not compartmentalize. Now I'm going to ask you again, okay? Do you ever feel bad about this mess?
Not at the least.
Not at the least. You're unhelpable. Get her out of here, Janet. This one's done. Yeah, she'll pay at the door, but that's it. Get her out of here. There's no cure for you.
That's pretty sad, ma'am. It is. That really is. And it really shows who your allegiances are to. It really does. And as somebody who served this country myself, I come from a very proud unit, the SEAL teams. Ooh. I know that my allegiance.
Oh, he got real rights to say this to her. I'm proud. I can't think of one organization in the country that you would feel better to be a part of than the Navy SEALs. That's why FBI agents aren't Navy SEALs. They might be good at some of the stuff they do, but that stuff right there, you think these FBI agents are putting it all on the line like that dude did? Like the SEALs? You become a SEAL, you're like, I'm at the top of the food chain. You didn't get hired as, maybe Delta Force and all of that. But nonetheless, when you're on that level, you sitting back like, So you can't tell me nothing about sacrifice and the organization and we're upstanding. How many missions this dude had to run that the FBI don't even know about? Stuff that this man had to do. How many times this dude probably had to risk his life. And yet here she is, I'm proud of it and this and that. And he has the right to say, that's disheartening. That's disheartening. And I can say that because I was a part of a serious unit
allegiances are not to an SW, Naval Special Warfare. They're not to a SEAL team. And I am glad. I am so proud that we have men and women who see their oath to this country and they said, I can't do it anymore. I'm going to go try and straighten this out so that the organization that I love can maybe, just maybe, be turned around, quit being a partisan tool, and actually protect the American people, which it clearly is not doing right now.
Man, she's getting a lecture right there on national TV. That's what she got. She got beat up. She got a counseling session. He tried to help her, but she just couldn't do it. Couldn't find it in herself to acknowledge that we got a problem going on in the FBI. The reason the whistleblowers are coming forward because they're no longer proud to be a part of the organization because of the corruption. And so if you still feel as if nothing about what's going on bothers me and make me feel like I'm almost a little ashamed, then you're the problem. Your conscience has been sheared. That's what's happening. It's dull. It's no longer sensitive to the corruption. You've become desensitized to it. So you're looking at it and saying, I don't see a problem with it. I love it all around. But this guy, he gets one more round because he came in and knocked somebody else out too. Right after this. Watch this one.
Thank you. I yield back my time. I'd like to take a second to push back on one of my colleagues' comments that he made a second ago to a friend of mine who's not in the room to defend herself. Mr. Ivey actually said, quote, I guess Miss Lake is still saying that the election was stolen.
Hold on. One of these bums up there had the nerve to fix their lips and talk about the lake. You don't talk about Carrie Lake, man. All right, you done crossed some lines. So you're saying that, oh man, I bet Carrie Lake up there still thinks the elections were fixed, huh? This guy can't let that happen. That man's a gentleman. He got to defend her honor. So now this guy who made that nasty comment is about to get the business
from her, even though there's clear, according to the officials in this state, that this was not the case. Now, I find it funny when people in this town use that defense according to the officials. Right. Let the American people believe the officials. They don't. A recent Pew study showed that only 20% of the American people believe the elected officials.
Wow. And it should be even less than that. So we got 20% dummies running around the country. That's what you're telling me. And yet, this is the excuse that the fake news uses. I mean, it's already been debunked. Who debunked it? The officials, the people in it. Okay. So did they have an actual trial, investigation? No, they just downplayed all that stuff. They didn't, like, even after the 2020 election, when I'm sitting here watching across the country, people coming out and testifying under oath that they witnessed all kind of stuff. And somehow we weren't even given a chance to go to court over this. All those folks on record saying, yep, I synced it. Yep, that person did that. Yep, these people. And nothing. And then you'll turn on the news and they'll say, it's all been debunked. And I'm saying, who debunked it? Or the officials say that, okay. Just like they said that, that laptop was Russian disinformation. Just like you had all of those folks signed on to say that COVID didn't affect Black Lives Matter and the protesters, but it definitely does affect those people protesting to go back to work. They were all like people that we should believe. I mean, look, the census, the overall census is that climate change is the greatest threat too. Oh, just like, the FBI and the DOJ and all of them, the people who we're supposed to trust and believe everything they say, came out and said that white nationalism is the greatest threat to the homeland. I mean, look at that. You got to believe them. They're officials. These folks right there are important. They got letters before their name. So honestly, how can you question it? How can you question it? So now he's about to use a little sarcasm to start off the fight.
And it's also funny, too, because we all know that election fraud couldn't take place in this country, could it? Right? This is America. That couldn't take place here.
Well, just
recently, we're finding out that this president, this commander in chief, has used his position and influence for years to funnel millions of dollars to his family.
Oh, Eli, Right now, he's in that dude's rig. Now you hear that guy try to fight back. Yeah, about that, what the gentleman yelled. So now he's going to get jacked up to even try to fight back. Don't be fighting back. I want you to stay in that corner while I'm tenderizing those ribs. But you're going to try to... You try to fight back. So now he's calling it out. He's like, surely, all of our elections, it's just America, never happened, right? As we watch the Democrats constantly, this is an illegitimate president, this right here, this election is a fraud, it should never be. Stacey Abrams on tour talking about how she's still the governor of Georgia. Watched all of that. And now this guy right here is starting off with a little sarcasm, but then look at the transfer. Look at his style, how he switched it up. He went from talking about the elections and the integrity of it and not being able to question it, and then slipped in right there to Creepy Sleepy and his family and their corruption.
That's something I also thought I'd never see in this town.
Will the gentleman yield for a
No, I will
question?
not. No, I will not.
I mean, you did invoke my name.
Well, I actually quoted you, so I will not.
That means shut your mouth. Put that boxing glove all the way down that man's throat. You hear that? Up there talking about somehow what the gentleman yelled. No, I won't. Well, you did invoke my name. He thought he had him right there. But he's dumb. See, he don't realize. He's like, no. I just quoted you. Now sit down and shut up. It's my time. All right, let me finish working on them ribs. Nobody want to eat ribs that ain't tender. So I got to tenderize them. Finish tenderizing them ribs, man.
All right. Though I don't agree with Mr. Ivey's comments, I'm glad that he's allowed to say them. Ooh. Because I do support the First Amendment. I support his First Amendment. I support everybody in this room's First Amendment. And you know what? You know what's important about supporting the First Amendment?
What?
It's most important when you disagree with people.
That's so true. There you go, man. It's kind of like loving someone unconditionally. It's easy to love someone who's lovable, but it's hard to love someone who you're going, ugh. I know you're my son and all, but what you did, boy, do I take back my love? Do I take it back? It's different. So love isn't real love unless it's tested. There you go. So don't be up here talking about something. You know what? I support freedom of speech. What? You disagree with me? Silence. I want these people shut up. That's what I want. So here he is transitioning, and these folks who are claiming that we support freedom of speech, he's about to open up the can of whoop butt on all of them.
That's really the only time it's important, because when we don't agree, everybody supports the First Amendment when you agree with somebody. Yeah. And it's interesting because I was listening to the panel up here, and we went down the line, and everybody here said that they support the First Amendment.
They all say
Yet, when we were going back and researching some of Dr. Miller Idris's comments, MSNBC 7/17 of 2022, on the January 6 hearings, she says this: what we need right now is a massive investment in and commitment to countering disinformation at all levels.
Oh, here we go, y'all. They thought they can get away with that garbage. So now he's bringing out the receipts. He's like, okay, I want you to look. Remember you had said this? Now this is how you set the liberals up. You go right down the line and ask them a question that really there's only one answer to. I mean, when somebody say, do you support freedom of speech, the First Amendment? What are you going to say? No. Stuff like that. See, they always will pretend like they support something, but they really mean I only support it when it applies to me or benefits me. I watched a montage the other day of these young people out protesting against guns, and this guy was out there asking them questions. A lot of them were saying, you know what, I don't believe that, I support the Second Amendment. I do. But I don't think that semi-automatic weapons should be allowed on the streets. And they didn't know what they were talking about. They're saying, we don't believe in semi-automatic weapons or automatic weapons. He says, so that's pretty much all the guns. What? Oh, I mean, well, like, okay, but I like the ones that can shoot a lot and this and that. He said, no, all these pistols are semi-automatic. Okay, well then we shouldn't have guns. They're always trying to chip away at parts of our rights. That's the problem. And when you start saying, let me pick and choose your rights like I'm at a smorgasbord, going down the line saying, all right, I want that, I don't want that, let's skip that. You can't do it. You end up either eating the whole dinner or just throwing it all in the trash. I don't want nobody going through and picking now and get that off. I want this and this and that. You got to take it all. So now these folks who swooping down, yep, we support the First Amendment. Now you got to go ahead and call them on it. Do you really? Because now it appears that when it was advantageous for you, you start making up new rules to the First Amendment by saying, but there's this thing out there called dis and misinformation. And we have to be the deciders of what that is. That's a clever way of giving you power to control speech, to discredit speech that hurts you, accuses you, exposes you, damages you. That's a clever way of doing it. By saying this is dis and misinformation, and I get to decide what that information is, whether it's true or false. But I do support the First Amendment. I do. Okay, except for false stuff that I'm the one that declares as false.
This includes holding tech companies accountable for dangerous and harmful information shared on their platforms. She goes on to say it requires strategies to prevent public and elected officials from sharing disinformation or trying to undermine our elections and the peaceful transfer of power.
Woo-wee! Is she talking about all those Democrats that was out there? You know what? I oppose this election because people are terrified. Is she talking about that? That whole montage? Is she talking about crooked Hillary Clinton on tour on TV talking about he knows he's not a legitimate president? Does that include Nasty Pelosi and all of them who said Trump was not legitimate? So this is what we're talking about. They only want to support freedom of speech when it comes down to them. When it comes down to us, then that's dis and misinformation. Same thing. They want all the guns removed from the law-abiding citizens, but not their detail. You know, my life's important. I need to be protected. You understand that, right? Okay, so you guys keep your guns because you protected my life. But the rest of you citizens, get rid of them. So when we start doing things like this man is talking about, controlling your speech, using companies to go after you, doing things like the man chicken's doing up there in Canada because they're not allowed to have guns, see? Or like the people down in Australia, in China. Stuff that we see and go, that's what not to do. You mess around, get our guns, that's exactly what these folks would be doing to us over here. So you can't pick and choose that mess. So here she is now on record talking about, we want to silence even politicians who disagree with our winning, with us winning. See, it's not when we win, everything's perfect and you guys shut your mouths. But when y'all win, it was stolen.
But above all, we need serious and sustained public education and campaigns to build population-wide resilience to disinformation, understanding of source integrity, and ways to distill false claims from true facts.
Woo-wee! He just exposed that hypocrite, that evil. Now, you hear all those fancy words that lady said? Basically, we have to train the public. We have to get out there and push a campaign and make sure we create a whole bunch of activists, a whole bunch of skeptics whenever any of our opponents come up with an alternative narrative. We want our people trained to reject it immediately. And then when we swoop in and destroy it, they'll never catch that we just simply brainwash you to protect ourselves from being exposed. We'll use the media, the big lie, the big lie, the big lie, the big lie. We'll use them to help us get you trained to when we step on the scene and says, that's more dis and misinformation. Y'all just go, whew, thanks. That was a close one. Y'all protected us from these white nationalists that are the greatest threat to the homeland and all of their lies. Good grief.
It's interesting, man, because it seems like you only support free speech when you agree with it, or you wouldn't make the statement. It requires strategies. I'm going to zone in here on this. Strategies to prevent public and elected officials from sharing disinformation. I've gone through some of your tweets, ma'am. Whether we're talking about COVID vaccines or far right extreme groups, there's a lot of things that you and I would disagree on. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of things that people sitting on your left and right would disagree on, but you think that we should stop them from being able, according to your own quote, according according to your own words, that we should stop them from being able to say that. And that's a problem, man, because
that is a problem. Ooh, I bet you she's sitting over there like, oh, wow. That's when receipts come back to bite you. Yeah, and see, this is the difference between the right and the left. I've tolerated and listened to some of the dumbest stuff ever said in these last 6 to 8 years. Stuff that I'm saying I can't even believe that these people even said that. But yet, I will still fight to defend some of the dumbest stuff ever said. I still fight to defend that. Them, they would never do that. They would justify silencing us and then celebrate it and call it democracy. That's what they would do.
Because I'll tell you again, the most important time to support somebody's free speech isn't when you agree with them. It's when you disagree with them. And ma'am, I hope that you and others that think like you are not successful, because I fought really hard to make sure that my kids and hopefully someday my grandkids don't live under communism or socialism or some other tyrannical dictatorship.
Love it.
Thank you. I yield back.
Yes, yield that mess back. That man said, I hope y'all don't get nowhere near success. And I agree. Now, just as much as I will support people's freedom of speech, but your speech tells a lot about what you are, what you think. Only way we know how you are is observing subtle behaviors and your speech. It's how you relate and communicate ideas and stuff like that, thoughts and feelings and stuff. So when you're out there saying things like what that one lady said earlier in my show, this right here is violence. You know what? You're triggering my students. When I see stuff like that come out of your mouth, yeah, you got the right to say it, but I don't want you nowhere near power. See, say it all you want, but don't give you no control over anybody's life, because you then will manifest those beliefs into action against me. So say whatever you want, just don't get nowhere near power. Okay, if I hear somebody talking about, man, if I get my hands on a gun, I'm gonna go off and shoot a whole bunch of. I'm going. You can say that all you want and throw them threat. Don't give them. Don't even get them close to a gun. Okay, nowhere near it. So now we gonna end with none other than Raggedy Ray. Now I know that is mucus sitting up there, right there. Nobody likes looking at mucus. You know, nobody like looking at it. But it starts off with mucus, but. This guy right here, he goes right into Raggedy Ray's ribs. So let's see how tough Raggedy Ray's ribs are.
You made a comment here in answer to the chairman's questioning that you are committed to working with this committee. You'll excuse me if I find those words ring incredibly hollow. I had to subpoena you as chairman of this committee. I really didn't get anything. I've written repeated letters, either with no response whatsoever or a non-response response.
Wow. Now he starts off letting Raggedy Ray know, I don't respect you, man. You have no integrity. You're all lip service. We'll cooperate. We're definitely gonna work with it, like they always say. Like we've been watching all of these organizations and leaders come up there over and over again, unprepared, don't know what's going on in their department, trying to say that these choices and decisions weren't mine, it was everybody's, and we can't share stuff with you. This right here is sources and methods. We've been hearing that garbage, so now we've lost respect for you. So don't come here talking about we're going to cooperate. I don't believe it. So Johnson, expose this rat. Raggedy Ray, that rat.
It's one of the reasons, and I'm very grateful to all the whistleblowers that are coming forward to various committees, to various members, people of integrity within your organization.
Oh, people with integrity within your organizations, which by default means you're not one of them. You hear that? Take that, Ray, put that in your pipe and smoke it. You don't have integrity, Raggedy.
Blowing the whistle on the corruption at some of the highest levels of the FBI.
Highest levels. Huh, you don't get higher than Ray. Johnson, I'm loving it. You hear that? Highest levels within the FBI. What level are you at, Ray? You are the highest level? Oh, okay. That means you're the most corrupt. Least integrity.
First question, do you commit publicly that the FBI will not retaliate against those whistleblowers?
Here comes the fake
Senator, we will not retaliate against whistleblowers. I take the protections that are in law and regulation of whistleblowers extremely seriously.
Good, we'll hold you to that.
Just like you hear that? We're going to hold you to it. Because, see, I just saw several whistleblowers the other day on TV talking about, man, they retaliated against me. All of them dudes retaliate. So, not only did they retaliate against those guys, but they tried to pull a fast one on Ron Johnson. Y'all ready for this exposure of Raggedy Ray?
Compliance with all of our other rules very soon.
Senator Grassley wrote you a letter on July 25th of 2020, in which he said that whistleblowers to his office reported that FBI officials initiated a scheme to downplay derogatory information on Hunter Biden for the purpose of shutting down investigatory activity related to his potential criminal exposure by labeling it, quote, disinformation. Boy, that's a familiar term. That scheme was hatched.
You mean like the same disinformation we were hearing Elon talk about when those people over there was going, we support the First Amendment, but yet at the same time, they were making sure that with Twitter, they suppress information, attack folks, making sure we couldn't talk about certain issues online and labeling it as dis and misinformation. Now, isn't that ironic? So now, all of a sudden, he's pointing out the fact that the FBI, under Christopher Wray's watch, now remember, guys, these are the same agents that came out and said, well, now under Trump, under that whole investigation thing, we put things in place since then. So thank you, Durham, for the Durham report, but things are better now. However, under Wray, unfortunately, we found out that somehow the FBI was communicating with Twitter and other agents trying to get them to come up with this fake behind narrative that Hunter's laptop was disinformation. Not to mention, Raggedy Ray knew that they had the laptop in a closet somewhere. So he knew it wasn't dis or misinformation. I wonder where those new updated policies, were they in place when that happened? Or did all these people do this right up under your nose, Ray, without you knowing it?
In August of 2020. Also included, he said in August 2020, FBI supervisory intelligence analyst Brian Auten opened an assessment which was used by FBI headquarters team to improperly discredit negative Hunter Biden information as disinformation and cause investigative activity to cease.
Investigative activity to cease. Yeah, don't go look and find out that they're trying to put together this scheme to label this as disinformation. No need. Trust me, that's not important stuff. Okay.
Have you responded to Senator Grassley's letter that he wrote over 3 months ago?
Senator, I know there have been a whole slew of letters. I believe we've responded to a number of them, but sitting here right now, I can't tell you which ones
you have not.
Responded to.
Have you looked into those charges that there was a scheme hatched in August 2020 to downplay the derogatory information on Hunter Biden? Have you looked into that?
Get him, Johnson. Get him. Setting him up real good. Now, Johnson already knew the answer. I can't understand why Raggedy just walked right into that. He's sitting there going, I'm going to ask you if you responded. And I know you didn't, but you're going to sit up there. Well, there's a lot of things. What letter you're talking about? I mean, it's not off the top of my head. Let me just stop you right there. You didn't. You didn't. Have you looked into that whole scheme that I'm talking about? I'm sure that's at the top of your priorities, Raggedy.
Personally,
we have, as we speak, a number of personnel matters that are underway, and for as reasons I'm sure you can appreciate, we can't discuss.
I know that's always your excuse. No, I got it. I understand how you remain above the law by using that excuse repeatedly.
Oh my goodness! I didn't know you had it in you, Johnson, and I'm loving it. So you see Raggedy try to come back. You see him as he was staggering on the ropes. All right, come on, Raggedy, pull it together. Went back out there talking about, yeah, we are looking personal matters. We're looking into it, trust me, and this and that. But you can understand sources and methods and the ongoing investigation. And he straight up dismantled him and disarmed him by saying, yeah, okay, I already know. Let's move on. I'm not going to get anything out of you because this is what y'all do. I can pretty much beat you to it. Okay, I see the lazy left coming a mile away. I'm sure they can understand how we are not held accountable and subject to oversight. Because we'll just simply block all of that mess by saying it's an ongoing investigation, it's an internal matter. I'm sure you can appreciate. No, I can't appreciate it. That's the problem. You're using that as a shield. Y'all using that garbage just like the left uses. You're putting my life in danger, and you're trying to make me unexist, and it's racism. Did you question what I just said? Because even though what I said is dumb and stupid, I can't defend it, so I'm just gonna call you a racist, fascist, xenophobe, homophobe, sexist. So this way, you don't question me and don't expose my raggedy decisions or thoughts or whatever. So they develop these coping mechanisms, these defense mechanisms that bubble wraps them. And now all of a sudden, you can't get nothing out of them. And this guy, yeah, sure, they can understand. So he's about to have to, help him understand something else right now.
The reason I'm a little sensitive on August 2020 is that on August 6th, both Senator Grassley and I received an unsolicited briefing by members of the FBI, which I knew immediately was a setup.
Now, Raggedy, this happened right up under your raggedy nose, your rat nose, right up under you. So now, FBI agents decide out of nowhere, we want to meet with you and Mr. Grassley. For what? Huh? We said just check in with you guys. What are y'all up to? They tried to pull a Michael Flynn on these two. Can you believe that? Under Raggedy Ray's watch. So they sent these agents, I guess, to him to talk to him about these accusations. And what happened?
No new information whatsoever. I knew it was a setup, and I was correct because 9 months later, on May 1st, it was leaked to the Washington Post to smear me. I have written you publicly a number of times asking who directed that briefing. Are you prepared to tell me in public who directed that briefing now?
Please, Raggedy Ray. So now, they have an unsolicited briefing with Grassley and them. They go in, and probably about nothing, and then leaked it. Now, first things first, why did y'all just out of nowhere say, we need to give you all a briefing? Secondly, did these FBI agents just decide to go over and talk to these two on their own? So now the question becomes, who sent them? Because whoever sent them, they hatched a diabolical scheme like they tried to do with Michael Flynn. Under your watch. You can't say it was Comey, my predecessor. No. Under your watch, they came, talked to us, then leaked that stuff, trying to smear us. Who's responsible for that, Raggedy? Who? Watch Raggedy try to defend this.
Senator, first off, I can't discuss specific defensive briefings more broadly. That's a long-standing practice.
So tell me then, why have you refused to meet with us to privately tell us who directed that briefing?
Good question. Way to work around that block. Well, first of all, I can't tell you how we process this and that in public. Well, forget the public. Tell me in private. Why didn't you tell me who sent these people to talk to us? That's my question. See, Comey even was honest enough to say he sent those folks over there to talk to Michael Flynn. You think them people just went over there on their own? Comey was like, I knew they were in disarray the first week, so I just said, why not? Let's do it. Sent them over there. When they show up at your door, they didn't show up on their own. These agents is being sent all over the place to do stuff. You think they just, what's on the agenda today, Frank? Well, I don't know. You want to go harass some people? You want to go up there and just run a raid on these people? You want to just go over and talk to Grassley and Johnson? Why not? That stuff doesn't happen, Ray. But you're trying to downplay it and make us, be stupid enough to say, well, I guess these FBI agents are running around off the hook, and Ray has no idea what's going on under his nose. You sent them, Ray. Burns me up.
So if I may finish my answer to the question, it's long-standing practice not to discuss specific defensive briefings. We have, as my understanding, responded in writing to a letter that you sent.
Smack his face.
It's bureaucratic gobbledygook is what that is.
That's what it is. You deserve that smack, Ray. So now here he is, a long-standing thing, the defensive briefings and stuff like that. So wait, y'all can't tell us in private? I guess this is a group decision. Who's in the group? Well, all of you responsible? Did you all take a vote, even though you're the director? Y'all took a vote. All right. Those that feel we should go over and talk to Grassley and Johnson, say aye. Or did you hatch a diabolical scheme, you dirty, nasty rat? But this goes to show how they will do anything to protect themselves. Even go so far as to entrap or set up or smear elected officials. Now imagine if the roles were reversed. These folks are so dirty, we wouldn't even have to pull schemes like this. We wouldn't have to do all of that. We could out them by just simply saying they did this and showing the receipts. These folks go to the greatest extent to protect themselves and to silence folks who are sniffing around the evidence a little too close. So they sent these folks over here to do that and then leaked it.
That's not a
We
response.
offered in that letter
What?
to
Nothing.
provide a senior executive of the FBI to walk through in detail our process.
Now, do you hear what this man is just trying to do? We offered in the letter a senior executive, not you, Ray, not you, but I'm gonna send a senior executive over there to walk you through the process of how we come to decide on who we're going to brief or what we're going to talk about. Now, that's not even what Johnson's asking. I don't want to know about the process. I see Mucus do that all the time. That process is the way we do. No. Who made the choice, Mucus? Internally, it's a decision amongst the. No, Mucus, I don't want to know about how the process works. I want to know who pulled the trigger. Who's the person who said, do it? That's what I want to know. And you can't tell me it's a process amongst several people and we cannot tell you how we do things inside of the... That means you're above oversight. Your processes right there are eluding oversight. How about we dismantle that whole joint?
Processes, but not specifically who directed a briefing that was used to smear me. Have you looked into the leaking of that briefing to the Washington Post? Have you investigated that?
I'm not going to discuss specific investigations. As to the briefing question and who directs it, let me be very clear about this. When it comes to election-related defensive briefings, there is not a single person who makes that decision. That is an interagency process that...
This guy, he deserves to get impeached. I'm so glad Marjorie Taylor went ahead and put those articles of impeachment out there. You hear this, dude? First of all, I'm not going to get into, the investigation, even though you're supposed to be investigating things that involve him. Johnson's the one who was violated. How did this stuff get leaked? Now, this is the crazy part about this. The two or whatever FBI agents that came in to give them the mysterious briefing should be the only people that the information could have came from. That's it. What happens after y'all leave these people's office? So hey, go back to the whole, FBI, everybody listen up. We had a briefing with Johnson and Grassley, and this is what happened. Now we have no idea who could have leaked it. This should be a very small group of people that could have leaked that information. That's my thing. So you should be able to go immediately and say, hey, you two, come here. Did you guys leak that information about the briefing? No, Captain. Who else then? If you don't know who did it, then who knows? Aren't you the only two that went and talked to him? Why, yes. Well, did you talk to anybody else about it? No. Then you guys leaked it. Simple. Do I need to do this man's job? But here he is up here trying to, we're still investigating it. It shouldn't be that big of an investigation. It should be a few people that you got to talk to, man. If me and my boy have a conversation and I know I only told him, and then 3 people next week come to me saying, Kev, I heard something. And I go, where'd you hear that from? I can't say. No, never mind. I know who you heard it from. I only told one person. But yet here he is. The investigation. I can't tell you about the ongoing investigation. And then had the nerve to move to the other deflection. What did he say?
Single person who makes related defensive...
You hear that? And then we got a process that involves a whole bunch of people, which allows us not to be held accountable for doing dirt like this. See, because if it was just one person, then you wouldn't know who to hold accountable. So I can't even tell you who really made this decision. I can't do that.
Briefings. There is not a single person who makes that decision. That is an interagency process that was set up by the prior administration.
Oh, that makes it better? That makes it better, Raggedy Ray? Up here, the prior administration, like your boys did it. No. Even the process is the question is, why can't you tell us who was in that process? See, so this defense right here is about to get blown up.
Signed off on by the former president.
Well, there are
Office of the Director.
There are
of National
persons in that
Intelligence.
interagency, correct? So there would be persons. So we should know who those persons are. Why won't you tell us who directed that briefing?
Because you're corrupt. You're Raggedy Ray. That's why. So you hear him try to block with that mess as an internal process, that it's a group collection. And he just said, let me slip that lazy left right there and come right back. Okay, cool. It's a group effort. Who was in the group? That's what I want to know. Let's bring them all in. Let's talk to the whole group. So now what, Ray?
persons then?
I would refer you to the process that was put in place, and we can give you more information about the process.
So you want to tell him the process, but not who decides it. Nobody's accountable, right? It's just in the ether. Mysteriously, we all just somehow, through osmosis, agreed. None of us said, okay, cool, let's do it. How does that even work? Why do you have an FBI director? Why do you have a chain of command? If there are things that take place that all of us just agree on, and I'm not the one to be held accountable. This is such bogusness. This stuff right here is one more reason why I say abolish, destroy the whole thing, rebuild it, make it something else. But this right here ain't working, man.
You would like.
Have you read Senator Grassley's and my report on Hunter Biden's corruption issued in September of 2020 and November of 2020? Have you read those reports?
I have had a chance to look at it.
Here it comes.
Do you see any sign of Russian disinformation in those reports?
That would be a hard question for me to answer.
No, it's very easy. It's very easy.
What I would say
It's a very easy answer. There is no Russian disinformation. That report is completely clean of any interference of foreign influence.
Getting Johnson? Y'all hear Ray? Oh, well, that's a hard question to answer. I don't have it right here. Before I'll tell you what, I'll answer it for you. Since me and Grassley is the one that put it together, there's no Russian disinformation. So why would y'all leak a briefing to try to make it look like me and Grassley somehow have inserted some Russian talking points? That's what y'all did. That's why y'all came and talked to us. Y'all knew that we put together a legitimate briefing about Hunter Biden's corruption and that laptop being real. And you sent some folks to talk to us about that and then leaked it out there to make us look like we also were a part of spreading Russian dis and misinformation. Now, this is such a dangerous tactic ever. When you have powerful agencies like this that can simply paint you as a traitor to your country, using McCarthyism to do that, simply saying, let's just slap this label on the truth and call it Russian disinformation and say this person is either being ignorantly used by the Russians or this person is doing it on purpose. They're betraying their country, helping Putin by talking about this stuff. Putin talking points, when in reality, these people are the Russian disinformationists. Unreal.
Although we have been falsely accused, including by the chairman of this committee, of spreading Russian disinformation.
There you go.
Are you aware of the FBI having any involvement whatsoever in the October 19, 2020 public statement by 51 former intelligence officials?
That was on your watch, Ray.
I'm not aware of any involvement by the FBI in what you're describing.
The reason I ask is if it's true that in August of 2020, the FBI initiated a scheme to downplay derogatory information on Hunter Biden, it would seem like maybe part of that scheme would be to get intelligence officials to issue a letter that stated that the laptop had all the earmarks of a Russian information operation.
Yeah, it sounds like something y'all would do. You know why I know that? It's because y'all did the same thing with Twitter. Somehow, y'all mysteriously use Russian disinformation and Hunter Biden's laptop as an example of some Russian disinformation could be coming down the pipeline. There could be a leak. We're just going to go ahead and go through this hypothetically. So if you guys are here at Twitter, sitting there, and all of a sudden you hear a report that Hunter Biden, for example, Hunter Biden's laptop, it contains all of this corruption and stuff and all of that stuff. That could be Russian disinformation. I'm not going to say it would be or is, but you probably want to treat it like that, just in case, hypothetically speaking, that something like that comes down the pipeline. That meant y'all knew that this stuff was coming down the pipeline. You knew about these intel community guys talking about, it looks like they had all the earmarks of Russian disinformation. Y'all knew that. These are your boys. You knew it. You dirty Ray, you.
That was totally false. We now know that the Hunter laptop is completely authentic. The point I'm trying to make here is the unsolicited briefing that was leaked in May of 2020 one was used to smear me and interfered into the U.S. Senate election of November 2022. One of the whistleblowers to my committee has stated that the FBI was no longer going to interfere in election, something to that effect. I can't find it right now. I'm running out of time. Oh, here it is.
Here it is, right here.
The FBI is, quote, not going to change the outcome of the election again. Well, the FBI certainly tried to by leaking, or somebody leaked that FBI briefing. Are you going to investigate that? Because that is the election interference. And let's face it, this letter by 51 intelligence officials, this interfered in the 2020 election to a far greater extent than anything Russia or China ever could have hoped to accomplish.
Presley!
You have to acknowledge that. It has to be investigated. I have no faith that you will do so.
Oh! Look at this dumb face! Yeah. Yeah, sit back and take a swig. I love it. That's Raggedy Ray for you looking around like, yep, that's pretty much true. Everything you just said is right on point. Can't even deny it. That guy got out there and gave us nothing. Oh, you can understand and you can, I'm sure you can appreciate. And look, we are looking into investigations, but I can't say what those are in the process and how long. And no, I don't know who made the decision. It was a whole bunch of us. We were all together with drinks and stuff. And I can't remember. I was a little tipsy at the time. Now, what's the question again? Where we at with this? That guy needs to be removed. The whole FBI, unfortunately, has been so tainted that it's not repairable. Even if you, like, they sat back and just told us a few days ago that we put things in place. And yet, since the time of the Russia collusion hoax that went on, we've seen multiple other hoaxes come straight from the FBI, the DOJ, and other entities. So, yeah, y'all got to go, man. I can't take your word for it. It's beyond taking your word. I ain't trying to hear no more sources and methods. I ain't trying to hear the process. I ain't trying to hear it. It's one of those things, kind of like when I tried to sneak into a club underage. And me and my buddy went up to Cleveland, got us some of the most crayon-looking fake IDs ever. Now I look back at this and I say, I can't believe we even tried that. Went up to the club and there was this big black bouncer at the door. And we gently handed him those IDs because we weren't even confident. Slid it there like, there you go. And he looked at that, looked at us. It was like, And here we go trying to explain. But nah, man, see, that dude didn't even open his eyes. He had the arm pointed like, go. And the whole time, like, like, I don't even want to hear what you got to say. But nah, but think, man, hey, what I said, what had happened was, nothing. You can't tell me nothing. This is my head, but the FBI changed it. We put in new policies. Sources and methods. Go. You got to go. All right. Now, God bless y'all. God bless America. Oh, I love it when we expose those liberals. Love it. So please support the channel. Like, share, all that good stuff. Those that have been supporting my channel through my Cash App and PayPal, thank you so much. The links are below the video to do that. I am going to upload some standalone videos right after this. So please check the channel because, you know, they don't want to send out no dang on notifications. They ain't even, I've seen people all down my chain right there saying, no notification, no notification, no notification. So that's how YouTube is right about now. So everything you do to support my channel, I appreciate it. I really do. Follow me on all the platforms. Check out the podcast because these live shows get converted into a podcast. And I think I covered everything else. Oh, follow me on Rumble as well. And my alternative channel, at least one of them that is still up. Stop and Think. That one's still up. So please check that out too. Yep. See, I see people right now saying no notification. I'm so glad you guys found me tonight. I appreciate that. Okay. So let's bounce, y'all. Johnson, man. Not Johnson. I know you see the 8s. Yeah. Take care.